It's okay to normalize mess. Mess doesn't mean that you're going to stay there forever. Uncover those areas that are still needed to be touched, like wounds and stuff. I want you to know that the world needs you. I want you to know that your voice is needed. To be authentically you, to share your light no matter what. It's never too late to start. You can start anytime.
Welcome to the award-winning Authors Show, where we guide professionals in crafting a lasting legacy through the art of self-publishing. We help you remove self-doubt from your mind with our proven process to become a published author. We have helped authors all over the world to publish their books since 2002. I'm your host, Lisa Umina, CEO of Halo Publishing International. If you're ready to become an award-winning author, let's get started. Well, I am here today with a very special guest, part of a big show that started just with an idea of let's hear the behind the scenes from authors and putting this all together. And so we have the show that I love to be a part of. And it's almost like the proud parent of watching someone come through our doors, so nervous, so fearful of, every author, right, is how will the world accept my voice, my message? And here today, I have someone that's going to just make you all sit down and finish writing that book. She has been through, we can say, hell and back to be here today. Matilde Hernandez, author of Beyond These Walls. I can't thank you enough for being a part of my life. We have this instant connection every time. The smile alone, right? The listeners can't hear it, but on YouTube they'll see it. But you're just a beautiful person, and there's a light, a ray of light that shines from you. And I'm just so happy that my path has crossed yours. So thank you for being a part of our show today.
Thank you for creating the space. I am so honored to be here and share the path to writing this book. Also, I'm so grateful for your opportunity and your team for being so patient and helping me write and bring this book to life.
Well, thank you. Well, on that note, so I'm just going to dive in. I know sometimes when you meet someone, you're like, "Well, I'm going to wait till a couple times after we visit before I give the real behind the story, right?" But here you are, as transparent as possible with your readers, and you share that, you were incarcerated, separated from your children, survival mode. That's all that sticks out for me. And
Yes.
you're trying to redefine yourself, obviously, once you're out. And you're a big story for so many. And for me, that's really important because a lot of times we get in corners or in very dark areas and we don't see the light, Matilde. And so for me, here you are, you're not hiding, obviously. Your whole mission, every breath you take is helping others to see their light, to bring hope to them. And I think that's a big word today in the world we're living in. So share with us a little bit of behind the scenes of what that all looked like for you emotionally and mentally.
I didn't just arrive. It took me some time to allow shame to fade away, and sometimes it can creep in. I mean, we are humans. One of the things that allowed me to continue to step out and speak was sharing stories with friends and people that gave me an opportunity to be myself. Dealing with incarceration, it wasn't just a facility because being in a facility, I knew who I was. I was in a place where it was quiet for me, but it was still peace. Not for everyone, they can't speak that, but it was a path of forgiving myself, which it took so long. And in the path of writing the book, I thought I forgave myself, and I was brought back to reading and writing and being more vulnerable with myself. So it's a place where, again, it takes steps,
Yeah.
confronting those areas, and you still confront them because in the society, in the world we live now, even if you've had some shifts in life, you're looked at differently. You get what I'm saying? And people
Yeah.
hurt from that. And my goal now is to allow people to rewrite their story, that it
Mhm.
is okay that you've had a different shift, but how does it shift you so you can build your community and share with others so they can also be free? Because we all have a story. Some of us just still
Oh,
hide the story.
absolutely. Absolutely. I think too with you, when you look back, because if I'm doing self-reflection because of you, I sometimes think, how the hell did I get through that? And I really, and I'm a big reader, obviously, hence the publisher in me, right? But a lot of affirmations come from that, and it's what we knew how to survive at the time that we were going through it. How we got through it, I mean, here we are today. And I think some people, like you said, everyone has a story, but some people go through harder times, harder moments in their life to get from A to Z, okay? Let alone literally A to B.
Sure.
So, and we don't have a lot of pauses in our life. And unfortunately, when you were incarcerated, you found that peace. And maybe that wasn't the peace you walked in, and the person that you walked out is a whole nother human being. And so I love it, gives me goosebumps when I think about your story in that regard, because a lot of people give up. And here you are coming out of this soldier of hope, and you're building all these communities, your tribes, right? And you come out, instead of self-serving, you come out as a servant. And for me, I mean, talk about book two. I mean, I still think there's more in you to do many things. And let's get into that part, because you just didn't write a book. You didn't just say, here's my story. You didn't just do that. You said, okay, here's my takeaway message from my book. And there's a lot of messages in it, but you developed this soul care. It's called the SWOT. What does that stand for? Talk to us about this.
Well, the Soul Care SWAT was more of a place where I have it in my site, which I'll share later. And it breaks down your strengths, your weaknesses. And it's more about allowing people to be able to know, where am I today? What's going on right now? Who do I am behind the scene, and where I'm still struggling with.
Mhm.
But also knowing that you still have a voice,
Okay.
and how do you use that voice and not allowing shame to hinder it? Because I experienced that. It took me a while to express myself, to be able to say, you know what, it's okay. It's okay if they know that this happened to me, but it's not happening to me right now. How do I share? So the Soul Care SWAT is more of a place for awareness. I walk them through personal growth and development, because I am a John Maxwell coach, speaker, and trainer, where I do this assessments, and I allow them to be able to create a path for their story. Because again, healing takes time, and healing looks different for everybody. It's not
Absolutely.
perfect. So the Soul Care SWAT was a place for them to be able to be open, answer some questions for themselves. And it's more of a journal. It's a prompt that allowed them to open up. And then from there, we work into different spaces of growth, healing.
Okay. Okay. Wait, that's what I want to ask, so the listeners understand this too. What types of service you offer?
I love group coaching, and I do one-on-ones group coaching, and I also have programs that allow you to do like workshops to
Okay.
do the inner work, and to rewrite your story, which is a 6-week program that starts from the beginner of the inner core of what's going on. But we do I do a lot of consulting, and again, coaching is one of the things that I enjoy the most, because it's in community.
Okay. So I love that you go beyond, no pun intended, right? Beyond these walls, but beyond the book. In this regard, let's go to that book. Let's go to this beautiful book you put together. What am I going to get from there? What's my takeaways? Because if I'm not going to talk to you and I'm not going to work with you on this one-on-one, as far as personal growth, and you talk about this too, when you talk about healing, it doesn't look polished or perfect. So if I'm using your book as a tool, how would I use that?
There is prompting questions in the book where I
Okay.
take you through a story, and I know in chapter 4 it does states where this happened, now what? Because things are going to happen, but now what do you do with what happened? Do you sit there and you allow it to keep you stuck? Because it comes sometimes it could. It took me a while to smile. It took me a while to show the light that I knew that I've always had, but in the back of my head, I allowed it to, like, oh my God, they're gonna know. Do I write it all? Do I say it all? So I wanted this book to, not because I was incarcerated only, it was more about, okay, this happened. What tools will you give your listeners, the people that are
Mhm.
reading so they can be able to start. And to start was to forgive yourself, learning to forgive yourself, understanding and trying to consider that not everybody is going to understand that when you get out of incarceration, that you're in a space where you're ready to just live again. You're still dealing with shame. You're still dealing with communities accepting you. So the book gives you more of these steps of learning who you are, forgiveness, that starts with you loving yourself. I add a lot of wellness tips and mental hygiene because I'm an advocate around mental health. And it helps them understand that once you confront the person in the mirror, once you confront yourself and are accepting of this happened, but I will turn this around to help the next person behind me that is experiencing these things. So the book gives you reflection questions. It takes you through a lot of quotes that gives you hope, joy, and more opportunities to connect with yourself, your inner you. Where are you
Mhm.
today? And
Yeah.
allow you that you can rewrite.
It's important too because we're so hard on ourselves. Some of our religious beliefs believe in guilt, and forgiveness is huge because I don't feel you can grow as a human being if you don't forgive yourself. Nor can you, if you don't love yourself, can you love anyone else. So for me, looking back, and again, everyone comes to sometimes, and I know this, will say, so what were you incarcerated for? And I wish people would be bigger than that and say, and I think you're doing that. I think you're a testimony to that because it's not what you did, because we've all done things, right?
Right?
It's what you've learned from. Because I always say this is that we always make mistakes, but they're only mistakes if we don't learn from them. If we learn from, what are they? They're guides. So you've done that because as we're in a society coming out, you already have all these negative people, negative answers, and it's just like all these things are triggering you to go, hey, why am I even doing this? I'm still labeled, but if you realize the world we're living in, especially now after that Super Bowl, I'm talking about that so much, is that we shouldn't hate, we should love, and we should love unconditionally. And it's such a huge message. And it takes someone like you to lead tribes, to give hope, to give the forgiveness, because sometimes people, they have a hard time doing it themselves. That they need someone like you in a coaching session to say, you're forgiven. Move on, learn the lesson from that, and go out and do those amazing things. We only have one life. So here we are doing it together. I'm holding your hand through it, right? And you're there. You're there as a light, a leader for them to see this come true. And I know a lot of them are saying if you've done it, they can do it, right? So so
Correct.
maybe it's not so hard. But we both
Correct.
know it's hard. It's hard every day to wake up as positive Patty and say, what miracles are out there for me to create? But we do it. We do it.
We do it. We do it. And thank you for bringing the Super Bowl because I'm from the Caribbean. I'm from Dominican Republic, and I love the message because it brought everybody unit. It's
Yeah.
unity for me. It's the whole world, loving, forgiving, accepting, sharing love. Be that light that the world needs, as in a place that we can walk in darkness. Walking through incarceration, as I said, is not just a facility; is a mindset. You can be released from prison from anything, but still being not free on paper.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're free on paper, but then in actuality, mentally, emotionally, you're still hiding. And it takes community, being accepted,
Yes.
and like you said, this it's not an easy walk, and not all of us wake up all happy and stuff. But for me, I literally people look at me and they're like, "Oh my gosh, she's always laughing." I do. You know why? Because I was given an opportunity. And my opportunity is, God,
Yeah.
how do I use this day? So when I walk in the room and someone I can feel that they're going through it, I remember being that young lady, not having that smile. Let me just smile. So even if I am going through something, it's not about me. My goal is to always come in the room and allow that person to be seen, heard, and accepted.
That's amazing. And your message isn't just for women. So for our listeners, everyone is in these exact situations that we're talking about today. One thing, and I believe this too with Benito's message in the Super Bowl, that it really was a story on the field. And it was just, if you got it, you got it. If you didn't, you didn't. And that's life. That's life because we can all go to a museum and stare at a piece of art, and hopefully you're getting something from that, right? Or even COVID. I say, we were stuck in our house, but were you? Or was that the pause in the life that you need to do something bigger? So they say, when I'm quiet, I'm building mountains. So for me,
I love that.
I see, because I'm not quiet. I'm a silent architect building something, right? So we have all these people. I'm going to say for sure, her books everywhere, right? Matilde Hernandez, Beyond These Walls, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Goodreads, Books a Million, Halo Publishing's
Yeah.
website. We have a bookstore. We have something so beautiful
Wow.
about her and her message. But let's leave this today with you saying something for people that are listening, so maybe they're stuck. Maybe they're stuck. That's what we'll focus on. The people that are stuck, whether they're in shame or survival mode, whatever you're doing, what's the message that you want to leave them, Matilde?
I want the person that's listening to this message to know that it's okay to normalize mess. Mess doesn't mean that you're going to stay there forever. Uncover those areas that are still needed to be touched, like wounds and stuff. I want you to know that the world needs you. I want you to know that your voice is needed. To be authentically you, to share your light no matter what. It's never too late to start. You can start anytime. Just give yourself the permission to show up authentically you, be because people need you.
That's beautiful. I couldn't have said it that way. That's why she's the author. That's why she's moving mountains herself. Thank you, Matilde, for being a guest on my show. I feel we're going to have many, many more conversations or many, many more books. We don't know, whatever comes first.
Yes.
Keep doing the Lord's work out there, touching people's lives, being you, being that smile, the silliness. We need it. We need it in such a serious world right now so much. We need you. We need everyone listening. Please take a moment, look at where you're at in your life. If you're at the crossroads, listen to Matilde. Take a self-focus, self-examination. Say, how can I be better? How can I give it better? How can I be better, right? A better human being. Well, thank you, everyone. And like I said, this has been one of the most beautiful conversations I've had in quite some time, and one that I needed myself. And again, we will have everyone listening to this hopefully more and more times than just once. And have a beautiful day.
Thank you so much for this space. Have a blessed one. Thanks again.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. If you're ready to publish your book, please submit your manuscript on halopublishing.com, or you can download our free publishing guide to learn everything you need to know about the entire self-publishing process. Start writing your legacy today.